Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all having an amazing day. Today I have a bit of a different project. Well, it's different for me because I usually don't upcycle anything, to be honest. But I made a denim dress, which I had a vision for it and I didn't realize my vision at all. I I hated how this dress came out, and I've never felt so passionately of a dislike for something I've made to this extent before. And I was really tempted to throw it to the back of my wardrobe and forget about it. But I thought actually, I really like the fabric. I spent quite a bit of money on it, and I didn't want it to go to waste. So I turned it into a skirt, which is what this project is about. And I'm so happy that I did because I've ended up with something that I hated to something that I loved. So if you have a project like that in your stash, this is the perfect opportunity to look at it again, revamp, and see what you can make from it. And for those who don't know who I am, hi, my name is Tammy. I create sewing tutorials and fashion content online. So if that is something you're interested in, make sure to subscribe so you can stay up to date with my uploads. This is my project for today. I'm going to upcycle this dress. This is a denim fabric that has gone through a lot of different iterations. I initially bought it to make a pleated skirt, but the weight of the fabric didn't fall correctly on my body, so it didn't work for that design. So I made shorts with it, and then I thought, okay, there's some left over, so I'm going to make a dress. This is the dress, which I don't like at all. It's a bit too boxy. It doesn't really have much design elements, and I think I can do better. I don't want it to just stay in my wardrobe not being worn because I don't like the fit. And for such a simple thing, I just had so many problems when I was sewing it. What I'm going to do is upcycle this into a skirt design. I have bought top stitch thread so I can add some white detailing. And I've got these chunky buttons that I've had for a long time. So I'm thinking there will be a way that I can incorporate these into the skirt somehow. It's not going to be pleated this time. It will be a straight skirt, potentially will have a pocket at the front. It will be something mini, not as short as this dress. Hopefully I have enough fabric once I take it apart to reassemble it into a new design. This is the front, and this is what the back looks like. Yeah, it's not it. So it's going to be a fun project to upcycle it. Hopefully you enjoy watching and learn something along the way. I'm doing all the prep work for my project, so winding my bobbin, installing a new needle, which I do for every project to make sure it's nice and sharp. Also getting my overlocker ready with my black threads. And my least favourite bit, which is to take apart the dress, which I hate so much. Luckily there's not a lot of seams to undo. I have the hem, the side seam, the dart, and the neckline facing to take apart. Then I also have the zip at the back to remove. All in all, I would say it took me about an hour to get everything done, and then I took it to my iron to press out all the creases. I don't know if it's showing up too well on camera. So this is my back piece, this is my front piece. It's a bit hard to see because everything is on black, but this is my two facing pieces that I used to finish my neckline, my zip, and the two straps. So these are all my pattern pieces that have been disassembled. Before I start cutting my fabric, I'm working here on drafting my pattern. I already have a skirt block that I've created, and I'm using this as a template to create my new design. I'm not going to do a test garment because I'm fairly confident with how the shape will come out, especially because this is a block that has been trialed and tested, and it works really well for me. The pattern will look a tad bit confusing to start with, and hopefully if I have time I'll do an illustration that will show you what the skirt will look like. But basically I've added a yoke to the skirt, and the front part of the skirt will be pleated at the bottom, and in the top section will have buttons, hopefully 3 along the side. The back will have two darts on the yoke, and the bottom half of the skirt will just be a simple A-line cut. I have just about enough fabric, so fabric from the dress that I just pulled apart, and I had some previously left over, about 1/2 meter from the last dress project. And now I'm going to cut everything, and hopefully it'll start to make more sense. Time to cut out my fabric. You can see I've placed my pattern pieces onto the black denim and cutting it out. Even as I'm doing that, I'm making small adjustments and looking at the position of the buttons, if they will fit correctly. And yeah, that's how I work. It's very freestyle, very fluid basically, to keep things open. Now this is the back skirt. It's the yoke section of the skirt. I'm sewing the darts in place. This is the first one, and next is also sewing the second one. Always make sure to back stitch to secure your stitches in place, and this will help to give shaping on your back waist. So it basically helps with shaping from your back waist all the way to your hips, to stop your fabric from, bunching out and not laying flat on your body. Very important step is to make sure you press every single seam before you continue to sew, giving it a good press here and using my sewing clapper, which helps to get the seams really flat. It traps the steam in, it holds the seam in place, so it's a super handy tool to have. Next is a super handy design, which is the top stitching. This is a different type of thread. It's a lot thicker and it looks really nice, but when I turned it to the back, the tension was all wrong, and I tried to adjust it, but it just didn't work. So I decided to use my domestic sewing machine, which works a lot better. The tension was good, and there wasn't any loose threads on the back. So that's what I'll be using going forward for all my top stitching. This section was still on the back section of the skirt, so I've placed my back skirt yoke and my main skirts together, right sides together, and I'm stitching all the way across. So remember that for the back there's 2 pieces because you're going to need to sew in the zip. And again, make sure to give everything a really good press to keep it flat and neat. And if you have a sewing clapper, this would be a good time to use it. Now that I've sewn the yoke to the main skirt, I'm top stitching that seam line as well, just to give it a little bit of extra definition. This is the front of my skirt. It's quite hard to see the seam line, but it's here. And what I'm going to do is create a very deep pleat by folding it over like this. And I've also done my back pieces here. This is my dart on both sides. I've done the white top stitching. This is where the zip will go. This is probably too long, so I will cut about 1 inch or 2 inches off, but I'll wait to try it on first to make sure I'm happy with the length and how it fits. Now that I've done my 2 back skirt pieces, I'm sewing my front skirt yoke right sides together. Then this is the bottom of my main skirt. I've done a pleat. It's about 3 inches wide on either side. Taking it to my ironing board to give it a really good press and to make sure it stays in place. I've placed my front main skirt and my front yoke pieces right sides together, and I'm just going to sew that from one side all the way down to the end. Now that my front piece is done and my back piece is done, it's time to put those pieces right sides together and sew along the side seams. Here it's really important to make sure that you match the seams perfectly, especially the seams at the where the yoke is. So it's a bit bulky as well, especially if you're working with denim. So make sure you use the correct thickness for your needle, or just take it slower when it comes to the bulkier sections. And don't forget to overlock as well to keep all your seams nice and neat and to prevent them from fraying. The skirt is coming along nicely. I definitely like it better than the dress already. A few adjustments need to be made. I need to cinch it at the waist so it's going to fall properly on my body. I think I can still get the stitches at the side seams to match a little bit more neatly. I need to cut to make adjustments on the hemline because that's uneven as well. Looking at it, I will probably cut the hem by about an inch or two because I want it to be mini, and I find this length quite awkward for me. I can imagine wearing it with boots, probably tights, so something that's, yeah, I like something that's quite short. I want to add more white detailing, so I will probably add it along here and to the hemline when I finish. I'm a bit stuck if I should do a facing to finish the waistline or if I should add a waistband. I kind of like how it looks now. I don't know if I want to add a waistband to it. That's an additional layer and it's more effort. And waistbands can be a bit bulky as well. So I'll have a think. The jury's still out on that one. Yeah, it's looking good. It's looking good. Sewing invisible zips are actually one of my favorite things to do. I just love how seamless it looks when it's finished. If you are sewing an invisible zip for this project, make sure to change out your presser foot to a zipper foot. They are different types. The one I'm using here will allow my needle to get very close to the zipper teeth, and this is what makes the zip invisible. So take it slow, make sure you don't sew over any of your pins, and just try and get as close as possible to the teeth. You can, if it helps, you can press your zipper teeth flat first before you take it to your sewing machine. You can use your hand to flatten the teeth, so whichever technique works for you. And make sure you sew all the way down to where the zipper stop is and then backstitch. Look how nicely it zips up and the seams match. So yeah, I'm really happy with that. Time to close the bottom of the skirt. And again, I'm still using the same type of foot, but it actually goes on the other side instead, and sewing all the way down, which will close that bottom of the skirt. Okay, so we are almost done. This is the hem section. I folded in the bottom of my skirt 1 inch to the wrong side, pressed it, and now I'm using my machine to sew it in place. So yeah, just go all the way around until you get back to where you started from. and making sure to take it easy around the bulky sections where the thicker seams are. I'm also top stitching my hem, again just to add a bit of extra detail and definition to the project. I'm sewing directly onto the black line, so the black line won't be visible, only the white thread. This is my facing that I've attached to the waistline of my skirt, right sides together, pinned it in place, and I'm gonna sew all the way round using a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Make sure to match it at the side seams, so again it's nice and neat. Next step is to understitch it. So this is when you sew the facing to the seam allowance. This is a very important step because once you've pressed your facing to the inside of your skirt, your facing will not peek out to the outside. So it basically keeps what is meant to be inside to give you a nice finish. The last step is to finish the facing by attaching the facing to the zipper, stitching it right sides together, then pulling it out to the other side. This is what the final skirt looks like with all the top stitching lines, and I had just a random old safety pin lying around in my jewellery box, so I decided to use it for this skirt project, and it's just added another layer of uniqueness to the skirt. And yeah, I really like that touch. I love the invisible zip and I love the stitching. It shapes me really well, and overall it's a really comfortable fit as well. I thought if I should add more, top white top stitching lines, but I decided to leave it because I wanted to keep it quite simple. I put together 3 looks just to show you some styling. It can be dressed up, you can wear it with boots, you can go for sort of more cute sailor look. So yeah, it just depends what your vibe is, what the occasion is, and where you're going to. So yeah, a lot of possibilities with this skirt. It's definitely going to be a staple. I could not be happier with the end result. It came out so good. Like, I even surprised myself actually. And I know I had initially shown a different idea of what I wanted. I wanted to do buttons and just I had different ideas, but it kind of went in a different direction. It's a lot simpler, and the top stitching really brought out the design. So yeah, I'm super happy with it. I don't have much experience working with denim. I've sewn it maybe 2 or 3 times before, and I have a tutorial on my page actually on how to make barrel jeans, and that was the first time I'd made jeans before. So yeah, I'm still kind of learning denim as a fabric. It can be quite thick. This one I worked with was a thicker denim, but I like it because it holds its shape and its weight. So yeah, I think it was actually ended up being a good choice, and I know I'll be able to pair it with a lot of different things in my wardrobe. So hopefully this tutorial was useful for you, and if you have a dress project or something that's gone horribly wrong, you can upcycle it into a skirt or a different type of garment. As always, if you have any questions, make sure to put it down in the comments below. I also wanted to say thank you so much for 1,000 subscribers. It was really lovely to see that number and a growing community. I appreciate everyone that follows, likes, shares, subscribes, whatever the word is. I'm grateful to you all for supporting me, a small creator on YouTube. I started off on Instagram, and I do a bit on TikTok as well, but YouTube is the hardest, I think, to grow on, and it's the most labor intensive in terms of making videos and tutorials, doing that longer form. longer style videos. So yeah, I do appreciate it when you watch and engage. So yeah, I hope to continue to do this because I love sharing tutorials and tips, and I remember what it was like for me learning and trying to find videos of things that I found interesting. So I just want to be able to do that same thing for others. So yeah, it's amazing. Thank you all.